What's happening, guys? My name is Anthony, and in today's video I'm going to be bringing you guys something different. So if we take a quick look at the screen, you can see everything looks the same, but as you go in, you're going to realize that something's a little bit different here. So we're going to be racing at Brazil for this video, but as you can see, this is the old Mercedes. This is the 2020 Mercedes. And that's because we've actually downloaded the 2020 liveries for F1 2021. So if you do want to download this mod and use it for yourself, just to have some of the liveries from last season, go to the link in the description and I will leave the race department link for this mod. So you can see we've got the old Mercedes. Red Bull pretty much looks the same in all honesty, and then we've got the McLaren, and then we've got the two biggest changes on the grid being Aston Martin, which used to be Racing Point of course, and then Alpine, which used to be Renault, and then we've got Ferrari, AlphaTauri, Alfa Romeo, which has obviously changed their livery quite drastically as well, As, which has really changed, and also Williams as well. So yeah, for today's race we're going to be doing Brazil at we're going to be doing a Racing Point at Brazil. However, I was thinking of maybe doing Renault at Jeddah once that's finally released into the game as well, so we'll see what happens there. If you guys do enjoy this content, then I will do that. But we're going to drive as Sebastian Vettel, and I'm going to sort out all the settings and I'll get back to you in a second. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is a one-shot quali with a 25% race at Brazil, and we're going to make sure that it's completely dry, just because I don't want to have to drive in wet weather and concentrate a little bit more. And speaking of concentrating, I am using just 105% AI for this race, and it's just so that I can really just race and then chat with you guys through the video. So let's get into the one-shot and see what we can do. Okay, so as we go for our one-shot quali here, you're going to notice that there are a few things that are quite different to what you probably would be expecting here. And the first thing is, as you can see, we are using the TV or pod set offset thing, whatever the camera setting is called. And I thought it'll just be a nice change of pace. If you guys really don't like it, then I probably won't use it again. But yeah, I definitely think it's a nice change of pace in terms of the video here. And you may also notice that I'm using 50%, 56% brake pads, and you must be thinking, well, hold on a second, Anthony, you've been telling us for a while now that since the new patch came out, or at least since the patch that came out last month was released, we should only really be using 50% brake pads. So why are you using 56? Well, to quickly answer that, I don't actually know why I have to use 56 here. I think it's just because of the way that this mod is set up, that I have to use the older sort of methods with the brake bias. I think it's just because they're using the older F1 2021 cars. I'm not entirely sure, but we end up qualifying in P8, which is not necessarily too bad. I'm still disappointed with a P8, but we'll see exactly where Lance Stroll ended up qualifying. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, we qualified in P8, just in between Daniel Ricciardo and Carlos Sainz. I am disappointed with that time. I definitely think we can go quite quicker than that. But again, we're just really just chilling with you guys here and just having a good conversation. So yeah, our teammate qualified at P13, which pretty surprised about that difference in time gap there. There's a 7/10 difference between me and Lance Stroll on 105%. So yeah, I definitely think that the cars are different compared to what we're used to now with the newer patches that's come out in the game. Okay, so what we're going to do is just a normal strategy here. Once again, the cars do feel different, so I don't exactly know how much fuel to put in the car. So I'm going to go safe, and we're going to go with one lap of fuel. And hopefully that should take us to the end. If it's way too much, then, you know, that's fair enough. It's sometimes better to have more than to have less. So let's get into this race and see what we can do with Sebastian Vettel in a Racing Point. So we've got 4 lights, 5 red lights, and lights out, and away we go for the Brazilian Grand Prix in a Racing Point. And we get a pretty good start here. Oh my god, I wasn't expecting to get that good of a start here, as there is some contact between us and Lando Norris. That is going to allow the front 4 to escape for now. I'm going to have to try and use our ERS here in order to stay ahead of Lando Norris. He is in the inside here, but we do manage to get an exit, a better exit than he does, which means we do stay ahead for now. I'm going to have to use our ERS, as I said, in these early laps to really stay ahead of Lando Norris here. But yeah, at the time of recording this video, it is currently Sunday afternoon, meaning that the sprint race has happened and qualifying has happened, of course. However, the race hasn't happened yet, so I don't exactly know what's going to happen, and I'm not exactly sure when this video is going to go out. But I'm going to assume that I've published this video after the race, either on the Sunday that I'm recording it or tomorrow on Monday. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what you guys think of the incident between Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton there with the disqualification through qualifying. I know a lot of people had a lot of things to say over on Twitter. Some people were accusing Mercedes of even cheating. I think that's a bit harsh, in all honesty, to accuse them of cheating just because the wing flap was a little bit more open than it should. There's definitely more to the story than just them cheating. I don't think that they would do something like that, risk something like that for a benefit that tiny, because really and truly there practically is no benefit considering how little over the regulation rules that the wing was actually open. Obviously there is a slight benefit, but it's not really significant enough to say, okay, that's worth the risk. So yeah, to those people, you know, you've got to read the report. I personally haven't read the report yet myself, but it's pretty clear that, you know, Mercedes weren't cheating. And if you think they were, then that must also mean that you think Sebastian Vettel and Aston Martin were cheating when they had less fuel in the car than was allowed at the end of a Grand Prix. I can't remember which Grand Prix it was that he was disqualified, but I know we were all sad about that situation. And it's a pretty similar situation here. You know, sometimes, you know, teams have problems with the cars, and in most cases, you know, those problems aren't really going to amount to much outside of, you know, maybe the team having a little bit more of a struggle throughout the weekend than usual. But sometimes the car does end up having a problem that makes it illegal, and I generally think this was just the case here with Mercedes. There was also sort of talks about Max Verstappen touching Lewis Hamilton's car. I didn't really see too much of what happened because I've been quite busy this weekend, so I kind of missed out on quite a lot of stuff, which is disappointing. But I mean, I'm not really sure what to think of that. It is illegal, in the eyes of the FAA for a driver to touch another car, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong with that, but I do think it is. So in that case, obviously Max is at fault if he did, but I don't really see how that would have made too much of a difference. Maybe it's just because I didn't see exactly what happened, but from my eyes, I don't really see how that's much of a difference to anything, especially if he didn't change anything. You know, he's just looking at the car. But yeah, as you can see, Lando Norris has absolutely stormed past us here. We've had to use quite a lot of ERS in order to stay ahead of him, and we didn't even manage to stay ahead of him for that long. But yeah, maybe we could hopefully use his sort of slipstream here and DRS to catch back up to the guys who are ahead. Because it's very difficult when you're the lead car unless you've got a lot of pace to catch up to the other cars, especially if the other cars are in a DRS train themselves. Yeah, getting back into the whole Lewis Hamilton situation, yeah, I definitely don't think that, you know, Mercedes were cheating or anything like that. I just generally think it was an issue with a car that just made the car illegal. You know, sometimes that can happen with these sort of things. But yeah, we were close to not getting DRS there. It meant that Lewis Hamilton actually had to start at the back of the grid in terms of the sprint race. So that was interesting to see how far he would be able to come back up the field. Obviously, he does have a 5-place grid penalty as we get a really bad turn one there. That's not going to do wonders for us, especially when we've got Daniel Ricciardo chasing us down. Yeah, as I was saying, it was really interesting to see how far he would get up to the grid, and he did really well. To see, this is the thing I do like about Lewis Hamilton, and I do hope that Max Verstappen shows the same qualities when he gets to the same sort of point of his career as Lewis Hamilton. And it's just, you know, even though Lewis has won it all, won pretty much everything you can imagine for winning in Formula 1, he's still very, very hungry and still fighting to make sure that he wins as much as he possibly can and do as much as he possibly can in his career. And I really do hope that Max has a similar mindset. Max is a guy who, you know, because he's been in the sport for so long, even though he's so young, he's definitely a lot more mature than I thought he would have been. Because obviously, me being newer to the sport, I didn't get to see Max in his early days, and a lot of people said that, you know, he was very aggressive, very very immature back then. But now, you know, he seems very composed. He seems very sure of himself, very confident. And one thing I usually use to describe Max Verstappen right now is he has the confidence of a multiple-time world champion, even though he hasn't won a championship yet, which is crazy to me. How you can have that mindset when you've not even won a championship yet. But you know, it just shows that the team is behind him and that he's confident in himself. So I hope he continues to have that same sort of mindset once, you know, he's coming up towards the end of his career. It would be nice to see if Max Verstappen can do some of the same things that Lewis Hamilton has done in his career. Oh yeah, we're still concentrating quite hard here actually, because we're in a train.
Some kind of problem with their car.
According to Jeff, there's something wrong with Lando Norris's car here, so we might actually be able to take advantage here. Just make sure that we get DRS and then just slingshot past here. If he's going to be slowing down, then it gives us an opportunity as he moves. What the hell was that, Lando? Jesus Christ, that was very aggressive. Not entirely sure if Lando Norris would do that in real life, but either way, managed to get past him, and we really need to try and take advantage of that now. We do have a warning already to our name. Don't really want to get a penalty, but if we can't avoid it, then we can't avoid it. You guys know that I am the penalty king, so it's not out of the realm here that I will get a penalty. I will try my best. If we don't get a penalty, then I definitely think we can finish in a decent-ish position here. Currently in P5. Oh, we got super wide here. Car just understeered really badly. That puts Lando Norris back.
You're gaining on the car ahead.
That puts Lando Norris back in our ERS here, which is quite annoying. Because we don't have a lot of ERS.
By about 0.3 a lap.
Alright, here we go. It's time for the pits. So we're going to need to have a good lap here. Try and push. See if we can get a good lap for the pits here. Outside of the DRS between those two, they are battling, but they're obviously going to let Danny Ricciardo go. Well, if it's team orders anyway. Just because he would be the fastest car at the moment. But it seems as if Lando Norris is able to keep his position. Jesus, okay. The longer that Lando stays ahead of Danny Ricciardo, the better for me. But yeah, now that we're pretty much coming up to the midpoint of this race, what do you guys think of the livery between Aston Martin and Racing Point? I heavily support Aston Martin just because I've really liked Aston Martin cars since I was a kid. So I like the livery, I like the team. However, I want to know if there's any of you guys who actually do prefer Racing Point / Force India. Here we go, going into the pits. Do brake a little bit early just in case we end up getting a penalty. Don't want that. But let's see what we can do in the pits here. 2.7, not too bad. And we're coming out behind, who is that? Max Verstappen. So, okay. We're not as far behind Max Verstappen as I thought we were. And as we come out of the pit lane, I did a community race yesterday. And as yesterday, as I'm recording this, did we just get wing damage from that? Hope we didn't.
No issues with tire wear for now. Keep taking care of.
Okay, well, I had a little bit of a concentrating moment there as we tried to get past Nicholas Latifi as our teammate goes into the pits. Yeah, as I was saying before, we did a community race over on Twitch, and make sure to go and follow me on Twitch if you want to get yourself involved in those community races. The link will be in the description. And as I came out of the pits, I mean, I'm just gonna roll the clip right now. Yeah, no, you definitely can't blame Hamilton. Like, anyone who blames Hamilton for that situation is literally delusional.
That was a heck of an impact. Let me know you're okay.
What? So yeah, as you can see, F1 2021, it does it again. You know, there's so many issues that I've had with this game, and I've had people, you know, come and say, oh, you know, it's just you, and you know, you shouldn't criticize the game when it's just you, because I've never had any issues with the game. I've not had these glitches, and I really don't think that's a good mindset to have. What do you guys think? In the comments down below. I don't really think that's a good mindset to have. Just because you're not having issues with the game, that just automatically means that there isn't any issues with the game, because clearly there is. You know, there's a lot of people having crashes online, there's a lot of people having glitches online, and it actually isn't just online as well, because one of the glitches that I've had recently, which was a similar glitch to what happened to me yesterday, in the community race. It happened to me on my team. So, you know, my team is offline. So, you know, it's clearly a problem that runs throughout the entire game and not just multiplayer. Because, you know, if you can get those glitches in my team, then how could you say it's just online? But yeah, I am really hoping that in terms of these issues with the game, that it does get resolved for the next one, because in my personal opinion, that clip really sums it up. You know, you might have not seen any league racing videos from me recently, and you might have been thinking, you know, okay, where's Anthony's league racing videos? You know, you started posting them, you know, towards the end of August, and then he just suddenly stopped. Well, this is the reason why I stopped. The game's just not in a good state right now, especially on PC. Not 100% sure if people on consoles are experiencing the exact same thing. Yeah, on PC, the game's just not in a good state right now, and I really don't want to put the effort in to a league race just for something like that to happen in the middle of it, because, you know, that will make me feel a lot worse than usual, and that's not going to be good content for you guys. So yeah, I'm still on a hiatus when it comes to league racing. I am thinking about coming back, but, you know, with stuff like that happening in the game, it's really swaying me towards the side of not wanting to go back to league racing. Wow, I didn't really think we'd be stuck in no man's land here as we get a terrible exit. We're kind of stuck in no man's land here. We are losing a little bit of time, gaining a little bit of time here and there on Max Verstappen, which is obviously going to be difficult to do because he does have DRS on Sergio Perez. But at the same time, we're also gaining and losing little bits of time here and there to Daniel Ricciardo behind us. So we are sort of in, you know, Max Verstappen land, as I like to call it. You know, Max Verstappen in 2020, where he was pretty much just stuck by himself for the race. We're kind of in a similar position here with Sebastian Vettel. We're still actually going faster in the first sector on these mediums.
Yellow flag.
The yellow flag here, I'm not sure if it's behind or if it's in front. It does look as if it's in front. I'm not sure what's happening there. Oh, Lewis Hamilton is out of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Oh, wow. Okay, well, that gives us a free position. We're now in P4. Is this a bad omen for what's to come in the race today? Well, I mean, you guys will probably know by the time we're watching this. You're watching this video, but yeah, that might be bad omens for Lewis Hamilton. I hope it doesn't predict his near future here for the Brazilian Grand Prix, because we do want the battle of the, you know, the battle of the Titans in the championship to go down to the wire, or at least I do. I know there's some people who would like the championship to be over as soon as possible, as we've pretty much got no ERS now, so we're just gonna have to use our raw pace here to close out the race. We do have 2 warnings now, I do believe.
The car behind is dropping back by about 0.3 a lap.
Oh, that was very sketchy. But yeah, we do have 2 warnings now, I do believe. It means 1 more warning and we will lose out on 4th position here, so we have to be careful these next couple of laps. As I said, the car is very different to drive, so it does feel kind of weird driving this thing. You know, the muscle memory of the newer cars, the newer handling cars, and especially in the slow speeds, you know, using the 50% brake bias and stuff like that, I've sort of built the muscle memory for that. So to come back to this type of car, it's very weird, very weird. But yeah, if you've made it this far into the video, I want you guys to answer a question for me, so I know that you've made it this far into the video. What has been the most shocking moment for you so far in the 2021 season? And what has been the best moment for you overall throughout the season? For me personally, I think that, you know, most people will go for the same answer, and I'm going to go for the same answer as well. And it's either the Silverstone or Monza crash between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen as the most shocking moment so far in the season. And then I think the best moment for me personally would have to be George Russell's quali lap at Spa. I definitely think that was...
This is your final lap of the race.
I don't know if I'd go as, you know, I don't know if people would agree with me if I said you know, would go as far to say it's you know, really a type of generational type lap. You know, a lap that, you know, it's going to be very hard for George Russell to beat in terms of, you know, that one amazing qualifying lap. And obviously George is known as Mr. Saturday, he's known as the qualifying guy. So to get a lap like that is pretty insane, especially in the Williams. You know, getting that car, even in wet conditions, to a P2 on merit, when you know, you've got so many cars that are quicker than the Williams this year. I definitely think that was a generational type lap for George. And obviously he's going to do a lot better than that when he goes into the Mercedes next season. But in terms of, you know, that one special lap, I definitely think that George is going to remember that lap to be, you know, one of those type of laps. But as we come up to the end of the race now, you can see Valtteri Bottas ends up winning the Brazilian Grand Prix. Could be omens for what happens later on today, so we'll see. But as for us, we finish in P4. Okay, so yeah, as I said, Valtteri Bottas ended up winning with the 2 Red Bulls getting a podium, and then myself in P4. So that was a pretty fun race in the Racing Point. As I said, if you guys do enjoy this video, if you want to see me do a race with the Renault at Jeddah, once Jeddah has come out and everyone's learnt the circuit, then make sure to smash the like button and let me know in the comment section down below that you want to see that type of video, and I'll definitely get around to doing it. It might not be straight away, but I definitely will get around to doing it. Lance Stroll ended up finishing outside of the points, and Lando Norris ended up finishing outside of the points as well. Terrible race for him, obviously, because of what happened there. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but he ended up getting his engine or something ended up slowing him down, and he lost a lot of positions there. So yeah, I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, as I said, hit the like button, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will catch you guys in my next video.